Welcome, weary traveler, seeking peace after a long and exhausting day. Tonight, as the world outside begins to slow down and yield to the quiet darkness, I want to invite you to embark on a journey of the soul with me. You see, in this bustling life, we often relentlessly pursue grand things, defining freedom by new horizons, distant destinations, and unextinguished ambitions. But sometimes, the truest and deepest freedom does not lie in endless, aimless journeys. Rather, it exists right in the moment our heart finds a peaceful harbor. It feels just like discovering a warm fire on a frosty steppe night, or a sip of hot tea warming the traveler's soul after a long journey through lands far and wide. True freedom is when your soul is allowed to shed every mask, every burden of yesterday, to nestle into a completely safe space where only understanding, stillness, and a gentle, comforting warmth shield you. Before we begin our journey together toward that peaceful valley, please grant yourself a small, wholehearted moment to settle down. If you find comfort in these healing melodies and stories that guide you into a serene slumber, please take just a brief moment to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on the notification bell. Your companionship and connection are the warm fire that fuels our passion to create even more wonderful relaxation spaces every day. For now, let everything around you temporarily fade into the background. No more work, no more anxious thoughts, no more noisy sounds of the city. There is only you, your breath, and this voice. Find a deeply comfortable position on your soft bed. You may lie on your back, arms resting naturally by your sides, or turn onto your side if that is the posture that brings you the greatest ease. Let your body stretch out, sinking deeply into the gentle support of the mattress beneath you. Feel the soft, cool fabric of the bed sheets brushing against your skin. Now, softly close your eyelids. Close them gently, without tension, without force, just like delicate petals folding themselves shut as the night falls. Let us begin to direct our attention to the breath. You do not need to try to change your breathing, nor do you need to breathe too forcefully or too deeply. Just let it flow as naturally as possible. Inhale gently through your nose, feeling the cool, crisp air slowly entering inside, filling your chest and lightly expanding your abdomen. Then slowly, so very slowly, exhale through your mouth or nose, feeling the warm breath gently escaping, carrying away all the fatigue and tension accumulated throughout the long day. Continue to inhale, welcoming purity and freshness, and exhale, letting go, relaxing your entire body. Allow your mind to wander through each part of your body to feel the relaxation spreading. Start with your forehead. Soften the muscles across your brow, erasing the lines of worry. Relax the space between your eyebrows, letting them widen and part. The muscles around your eyes are also completely at ease. Your eyes are now resting peacefully behind firmly closed lids. Continue to relax your jaw. Let your teeth part slightly, your lips soft and relaxed. Feel a wave of comfort flowing from your face down to your neck and onto both of your shoulders. Your shoulders, which have carried so many responsibilities and pressures all day long, can now let go, sinking deeply into the mattress. The entire weight of your shoulders is being released. This relaxation continues to warm and extend down both arms, through the elbows, forearms, wrists, and into the tip of each finger. You might feel your fingers curling slightly and naturally, entirely devoid of any tension. Now, feel your back. From your upper back, down along your spine to your lower back, all the muscle groups are easing, becoming soft and warm. Your chest rises and falls rhythmically with each breath, like small waves gently lapping against the side of a boat on a windless afternoon. The relaxation flows down to your hips, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and the soles of your feet. Your entire body right now is like a strip of soft silk, completely weightless, yet deeply and securely connected to the surface beneath you. You are here, in your own room, enveloped by absolute stillness and safety. Nothing can disturb you at this moment. Any distant sound from the outside world, should it drift in, only enhances the stillness and peace of your current space. They are like distant accompanying notes, soothing your mind deeper into a state of tranquility. Continue to maintain that steady, rhythmic breath. Inhale and exhale. With each exhalation, you feel yourself sinking a little deeper into a state of complete reassurance. Your mind right now is like a glassy lake without a single ripple, clear and reflecting the gentle light of the night. You are ready to say goodbye to reality, ready to begin a journey further away to a misty, green steppe land where a flickering fire and the warmth of a cup of tea await to heal your soul. Just let yourself relax, floating along the gentle flow of time and space. All pressure has vanished. Only the most pristine peace remains alive within you. Now, with your entire body completely sunken into tranquility and relaxation, let your mind become like a free bird, gently taking flight away from your small room, away from the clamor of daily life. Together, we will cross vast oceans and span distant continents to land in a peaceful realm where time seems to slow down with each rhythmic breath of nature. Welcome to Valle Edén, the serene Valley of Eden in the beautiful country of Uruguay, a hidden gem nestled in the heart of the vast South American Pampa. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of an infinitely wide space at twilight. As the final light of day slowly recedes over the valley, the entire landscape is draped in a cloak woven from the golden amber threads of honeyed sunlight, sweet, soothing, and warm. The sun's rays are no longer harsh as in summer, but gentle, reflecting their final beams onto the undulating hills in the distance. The vast Pampa steppe ripples under the caress of the breeze, stretching endlessly to the far horizon where the cool sky and the embracing earth merge into one. The tall, soft steppe grass sways in perfect rhythm, creating a rustling, steady murmur, like a whispered lullaby, or the very slow breath of Mother Earth preparing to sink into a night of deep sleep. The space here is so immense, that you can feel the openness in your every breath. The air carries a uniquely distinct and pure fragrance. The scent of crushed green grass, the aroma of damp earth after a long day of drinking in the full sunlight, and the subtle crisp cold of the steppe twilight. Venturing deeper into this peaceful valley, half hidden behind ancient, cool green trees, stands an old farmstead bearing the beautiful imprint of time. The local people call it a small rancho, a rustic house with unbaked brick walls of a warm terracotta hue, paired with a moss-covered tiled roof that has weathered into deep, dark tones over the years. The house is a harmonious, humble accent, embracing and blending seamlessly into the magnificent tapestry of nature around it. The house possesses a wide veranda made of rustic timber, its large planks polished by the passage of time, looking directly out onto the boundless meadow ahead. From this veranda, your gaze can wander far to where wild horses are leisurely grazing on the final green shoots of the day. They are in no hurry. Their gentle, slow steps cast long shadows on the misty ground. The climate of the steppe in the late afternoon begins to shift noticeably. The daytime heat completely gives way to a chilly air, as a damp, refreshing blanket of mist slowly creeps up from the peaceful riverbank below. The mist is as soft as a plume of white smoke weaving through the thickets and grass, enveloping the entire valley of Valle Edén in a surreal, floating, and poetic veil. You stand there, beneath the veranda, feeling the crisp chill brushing against your skin, yet your soul is incredibly warm, knowing that you are cocooned within absolute silence. Every detail in this picture carries a graceful arrangement of peace. The colors shift gradually, from the warm amber glow of honey to the pale violet of dusk, then blending with the grayish white of the floating mist atop the deep green of the pastures. All of this creates a world apart, a safe cocoon that helps you shake off every worldly entanglement. There are no engine noises, no bright lights of the city, only the gentle, natural light fading away and the sound of the wind from the wilderness. This background setting is precisely where our story will unfold, where you will witness a supreme symbol of sharing and warm connection between human and human, between man and nature. Let the vision of your mind record the image of that rustic wooden veranda. Visualize the campfire about to be lit and feel the gentle cold of the mist surrounding the fence outside. The contrast between the chill of the vast space out there and the safe warmth inside the ancient veranda of the rancho will deepen your desire to be sheltered, your desire to rest. Keep immersing yourself in this misty scenery of Valle Edén, allowing your every sense to be soothed by the stillness of the Pampa steppe. The warmth of the tea and the fire is very close, ready to welcome you into a main story filled with deep affection and profound healing. Beneath the wide veranda of the ancient rancho, amidst a space filled with the pale violet hues of dusk settling over the Valle Edén steppe, Mateus sat leisurely on a rustic wooden chair. He was a true Gaucho of this land, bearing the free, wild beauty of a son born of the wilderness wind. Yet his eyes were also filled with the thoughtful, deep contemplation of a man who had journeyed through much mist and wind. The attire he wore breathed the very life of the traditional Pampa steppe culture. His thick, gray bombacha de campo wide-legged trousers, his dark, coarse cotton shirt with its natural folds, and the deep red pañuelo neckerchief neatly and skillfully knotted at his collar. All these details exuded a beauty that was remarkably simple, yet proud. Upon his head, his familiar boina beret tilted slightly to one side, cleverly shading a portion of his broad, resolute, and noble forehead. Mateus was in no hurry. He was focused and meticulous as he built a small fire in the open-air wood stove placed right before the veranda. He arranged the dry firewood into a small pyramid shape, then used a tinder spark to coax it awake. The bright, small orange embers initially caught the wood grain, then flared up more strongly, releasing a plume of light gray smoke that drifted softly upward, carrying the rich, warm aroma characteristic of dried pine and the earthy scent of the damp steppe. The crackling of the wood, steady and crisp, broke the quiet atmosphere of the twilight like a rustic, musical rhythm, soothing the space. From within the rustic house, a slender, gentle figure stepped out onto the porch. It was Clara. She wore a simple, ankle-length, cream-colored dress, its lightweight linen fabric gently embracing her soft shoulders. Her long, glossy black hair was neatly woven into two braids resting on either side of her shoulders, leaving a few soft wisps of hair to flutter and play in the chilly late afternoon breeze. In her hands, she carefully carried a small wooden tray, upon which sat a gleaming stainless steel thermos and 2 pieces of torta frita that she had just fried in her modest kitchen. The pastries still radiated hot steam, and the rich, savory aroma of fully cooked dough in hot oil. Clara smiled gently, her footsteps approaching Mateus, the hem of her long dress brushing softly against the rustic wooden floor, creating a faint, whispering rustle. She sat down on the long wooden bench right beside him, placing the tray down gently on a corner of the table. "The cold is settling in so fast, Mateus," Clara said softly, her voice tender and clear, like a freshwater stream trickling through the deep valley. "The mist from the river has already reached the fence." Mateus paused his hands and looked up. His eyes met hers, a gaze filled with warmth, tenderness, and protective care. He reached out his large, rough hand to take the wooden tray, moving it closer toward the crackling fire so that the warmth from the flames would keep the pastries from growing cold in the steppe wind. "It is always like this in Valle Edén during this season, my love," Mateus replied, his voice deep, leisurely, and warm. The rhythm of his words slow and steady, like the footsteps of a loyal horse treading upon the misty dirt road. "But with this fire here, and with you by my side, no matter how cold the steppe becomes, it grows warm." Mateus reached out to take the mate gourd, the invaluable traditional drinking cup of the Gauchos, made from a dried gourd shell, wrapped in exquisite cowhide at the base to ensure stability. Skillfully and familiarly, he placed the dried green yerba mate leaves inside, shaking the gourd lightly so that the fine tea dust would drift out, then tilting the gourd at a perfect 45-degree angle. He poured a small amount of warm water into the empty space to let the tea leaves absorb and expand evenly, before inserting the silver bombilla straw with its filtered base deep to the very bottom of the gourd. Finally, he slowly, deliberately poured hot water from the thermos inside. A swirl of tea steam rose, carrying a rich, earthy, yet incredibly pleasant and pure herbal fragrance. According to the ancient sacred custom of the Gauchos passed down through generations, Mateus took the very first sip of tea to check the richness of the brew and the exact temperature of the water. Upon feeling the gentle, clean bitterness spread across the tip of his tongue, and a wave of warmth coursed through his body, awakening his senses, he turned the gourd, directing the silver straw toward Clara, and honorably placed it into her hands. Clara received the gourd with both of her small hands. The hot warmth from the leather shell of the gourd traveled straight into her chilly palms, bringing an instant feeling of comfort and reassurance. She took the silver straw, gently sipping the hot, flavorful mate tea. The initial slight bitterness and astringency quickly transformed into a sweet, smooth aftertaste in her throat. In the ancient culture of the Gauchos, sharing a single mate gourd and one bombilla straw was not merely about drinking a beverage together. It was the supreme symbol of companionship, of absolute trust without a single doubt, and a testament to a love without distance, merging into one. "The tea is very good today, Mateus," Clara said as she handed the gourd back to him, her eyes sparkling with the reflection of the bright firelight. "It tastes of the sun and of peaceful days on the pastures." Mateus took the gourd from her hand, added a little more hot water from the thermos, and took the next sip. Thus, they alternated, sharing the mate gourd in a space of silence, yet full of deep understanding. Between these two kindred souls, there was no need for grand words, because each small gesture, each gentle look exchanged, spoke volumes. Clara picked up a still warm tortafrita, skillfully breaking it into two halves, handing one half to Mateus. The pastry, crispy on the outside and soft, rich, and fragrant on the inside, was a traditional food indispensable to the people of the steppe on thick, misty, or cold, rainy days. "Do you remember the first time we met at the Fiesta de la Patria Gaucha?" Mateus asked softly after finishing his piece of pastry, his eyes gazing far out into the mist that was thickening over the meadow where darkness had begun to consume all things. Clara laughed softly, a radiant, warm smile that brightened the chilly late afternoon space beneath the veranda. How could I ever forget? That year, the festival in Tacuarembó was so grand. People from all over flooded in, vibrant with the colors of ponchos and wide flowing dresses. At that moment, Mateus continued, his gaze returning to look directly into her face, gleaming with the embers of reminiscence, I was leading my horse through the bustling campsite. Amidst thousands of people passing by, I was immediately drawn to a girl wearing a gentle lavender vestido de paisana dress, her hair neatly braided, standing to help her mother display traditional pastries. You looked at me, and I knew that the heart of this free nomad of the steppe had found its eternal harbor. Clara lowered her head slightly, her cheeks blushing faintly under the orange glow of the wood fire. And you were so handsome and proud back then. Your rostra belt, studded with old silver coins, gleamed under the festival sun, and your hand-woven wool poncho bore strong geometric patterns. You walked proudly like a god of the vast steppe. But when you looked at me and smiled, I saw a strange tenderness, a peculiar warmth in those eyes. Night had completely fallen over Valle Edén. The blanket of mist by now was thick and white, enveloping the small rancho house like a peaceful cocoon, completely isolating the two of them from the noisy, chaotic world outside. The surrounding space held only the sound of the wind whistling gently through the wooden door cracks, the steady, rhythmic chirping of insects echoing from the distant meadow, and the crackling of the firewood radiating a cozy, pleasant warmth beneath the veranda. Mateus rose at a leisurely pace, walked inside the rustic house, and returned with his familiar Spanish guitar. The body of the guitar, made of wood seasoned by time, bore the deep scratches of the years he spent roaming on horseback across the wild fields. He sat down, holding the guitar reverently in his arms, his rough gaucho fingers moving with masterly grace and softness as he plucked the very first notes. The deep, warm, rustic, and authentic sound of the guitar arose, blending perfectly with the whispering wind of the lonely Pampa steppe night. It was a slow melody, deeply imbued with the soulful echoes of an ancient Milonga, the traditional music that gauchos used to tell life stories, to share their hearts with their beloved and with the mystical night. As he played, Mateus softly sang in a deep voice. His singing was low, slightly raspy, but filled with emotion and resonance, chanting simple verses about the love of Mother Earth, about the vast, windswept steppe fields, and about the girl with eyes as bright as stars, sitting opposite him at this very moment. Clara leaned her head lightly against the rustic wooden porch pillar, closing her eyes to feel each note, each lyric, sink into the very depths of her soul. To her, that melody was like a warm, gentle stream, washing away all the fatigue and worries of a long day of hard work, bringing her a sense of absolute peace and serenity. She felt like a small bird that, after long days of weary flight amidst the stormy skies out there, had finally returned to nestle beneath this peaceful and sturdy roof. When the Milonga piece concluded, the echo of the strings still lingered, resonating in the quiet space of the steppe night. Mateus gently set the guitar aside, stepped over to sit close to Clara, and tenderly wrapped his strong arm around her shoulders, drawing her close to his warm chest. Clara naturally rested her head against his chest, where she could clearly hear the steady, strong, and solid beating of his heart, like an unshakable fortress. "Mateus," Clara whispered softly, her warm breath brushing against the fabric of his shirt. "Do you ever regret those days of untamed freedom, of wild wandering before this? When you could freely ride your horse anywhere you wished, sleeping under a sky full of stars without any ties to a home?" Mateus tightened his embrace slightly, his chin resting gently on the crown of her head, inhaling the pure, rustic scent of the steppe wildflowers still lingering in her soft hair. Clara, for a Gaucho, freedom is life itself. It is the soul. I used to think freedom meant journeys with no destination, endless misty dirt roads stretching to the horizon. Mateus said slowly, his voice warm as if pouring honey into the quiet night. But since you appeared in my life, I have realized another kind of freedom, one that is far deeper. It is the freedom within the soul, when it knows it belongs to a peaceful place, belongs to a deserving person. When I ride my horse across the vast steppe during the day, I know that in the evening, a warm fire is always waiting for me. There is a flavorful cup of mate, and there is you. That is the truest, most complete happiness of my life. You are my very own steppe. Clara looked up at him, her eyes shimmering with overflowing emotion. She raised her soft hand, gently caressing the weathered, resolute contours of his face. And you are the eternal fire warming my life, Mateus. The story of Mateus and Clara's love amidst the vast Uruguayan steppe is a profound, healing testament showing that true love does not need to be accompanied by drama, storm, or distant promises to become deep. The understanding and sharing of the simplest, smallest things in daily life, like a hot cup of mate tea shared through a silver straw, a warm piece of pastry on a frosty night, or a rustic Milonga song beneath the dying fire, are the strongest bonds that unite two souls as one. For each of us, freedom is not loneliness on aimless journeys without a companion. Rather, true freedom is when the heart finds a peaceful harbor, a safe haven where we can confidently entrust and soothe our souls after the storms of life. The fire in the open-air wood stove before the house had now gradually died down, giving way to glowing red embers, flickering like precious gems amidst the dark night. The warmth radiating from the embers was gentle, caressing, just enough to dispel the chill that was encircling the rustic wooden veranda. The mist outside had now completely blanketed the path, thick and billowing like soft white clouds drifting slowly, transforming the entire valley of Valle Edén into a surreal fairy realm. Completely isolated and sinking deeply into a state of absolute tranquil peace. The surrounding space was astonishingly quiet, so still that one could hear each drop of night dew falling steadily upon the mossy tiled roof. The light, relaxed breathing of the wild horses already fast asleep in the stable nearby, and the harmonious heartbeat of two kindred souls. Mateus rose leisurely, his movements slow and gentle, so as not to break the sacred stillness of the night. He used a bit of fine ash from the stove to cover the dying embers, completely extinguishing the final orange sparks, returning the space to the cool, natural light of the moon high above. He turned back, gently extending his large, warm hand to take Clara's hand, guiding her into the house. Each step they took upon the rustic wooden floor made a very soft, faint sound, like a quiet farewell to the windswept veranda to return to their private, cozy sanctuary. Their small bedroom appeared under the dim, ethereal moonlight, filled with the deeply pleasant and rustic scent of pine wood and the aroma of clean, coarse fabrics that had fully baked in the daytime steppe sun. In the center of the room stood the large, sturdy wooden bed, meticulously tended to by Clara's skillful hands. The bed was adorned with a thick, soft, hand-woven wool blanket, featuring geometric patterns of distinct colors that carried the very soul of the Pampa Gauchos. The cool, clear moonlight streamed through the small window, illuminating the serene faces of both, untouched by a single ripple of worry. They lay down together unhurriedly, pulling the warm, thick wool blanket over their chests to preserve their body heat against the chill of the steppe night. Mateus lay on his side, one hand cradling Clara's head protectively, while his other arm enveloped her slender, soft back, drawing her into his embrace. Clara nestled her face deep into her husband's warm, solid chest, resting one leg lightly over his, seeking that familiar, secure connection she had cherished for so long. Now, all the cares, all the turbulence, all the hardships of the working life outside seemed to recede into an infinite void, yielding entirely to an absolute peace, a simple happiness that filled the bedroom space. "Good night, my Steppe," Mateus whispered softly by her ear, his voice warm and weightless like a passing breeze, as he placed a tender, respectful kiss upon her smooth forehead. "Good night, my fire," Clara replied, her voice already faint, blurred by the heavy slumber wrapping around her mind. Your consciousness, and indeed your own consciousness at this very moment, is beginning to intersect between reality and dreaming. Every sound, every image of the rancho house, the mate gourd, or the guitar strings is slowing down to the absolute minimum. The surrounding details begin to blur, gently fading and dissolving into the quiet air. Just like the mist enveloping the valley, your mind right now is wrapped in a safe, floating, and weightless sensation. There is no longer a boundary between the story and reality, only a soothing flow of tranquility guiding your way into the realm of the most complete rest. Inside the small room filled with the cool moonlight of Valle Edén, the space has now completely dissolved into the eternal silence of the steppe night. The breathing of Mateus and Clara gradually becomes synchronous, merging into a single rhythm, slow, deep, and steady. Each gentle breath flows in and out, like tiny ripples gliding across a glassy lake, carrying any remaining consciousness deep, so very deep, into the boundless realm of peaceful sleep. Their connection now is no longer through words, no longer through glances, but through their very peaceful, solid presence beside each other beneath the thick wool blanket. Your mind at this moment is also in perfect alignment with that slow breath. Let yourself completely let go, completely unwind, and float serenely along the gentle current of the night. In the first dreams blossoming within your subconscious, you will see yourself riding spirited horses alongside Mateus and Clara, leisurely wandering along the Valle Edén Valley, which is flooded with amber-honeyed sunlight and blooming spring wildflowers. Together, you head toward the infinite horizon, where love, freedom, and peace will forever exist, eternal and vast, like the boundless Pampa steppe itself. The images of the misty green valley, the warm embers, the sweet aftertaste of the mate tea, all of it is fading now, fading away, transforming into a soft silk ribbon cradling your sleep. You feel entirely safe, entirely relieved, like a leaf gently drifting down to the soft earth, sheltered and embraced by the love of the great Mother Earth. No thoughts remain, no images remain, only absolute stillness, a blank, peaceful, and incredibly relaxing space. Let yourself sink deep into sleep. Sleep well, sleep deeply, and sleep peacefully. And then, when this mystical night passes, when the first rays of the new day proudly light up the eastern sky, you will awaken with a completely fresh body, full of energy, and a soul overflowing with peace. When that moment of waking arrives, if you feel tonight's healing journey has brought you moments of complete relaxation, please remember to come back and interact with this video. A like, a share, or a few short lines of comment left below about your experience is an invaluable spiritual gift for the channel. Your return is our happiness, just like the steppe traveler always finding their way back to the warm fire of home. But for now, the world outside is fast asleep, and you too let your soul freely immerse itself into a deep sleep. Good night, my peaceful soul. Good night. Good night. Sleep deeply.